This presentation is inspired by a conversation between God and Moses. Exodus 4 verses 10 to 12. And Moses said unto the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. And the Lord said unto him, Who hath made man's mouth? Or who mocketh the dumb, or deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have not I the Lord? Now therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say. But, then comes an excuse. Self-pity. But. When God calls us from a burning bush and tells us to do something challenging, like witness to the neighbor who poisoned your dog, go and talk to your friends who are separated and considering divorce, or volunteer for the Parent-Teacher Association, or talk to your neighbor about his or her need for Christ. Offer some encouraging words to that child in despair. We sometimes respond, but, and look for excuses. But I told you I don't speak so good. Sometimes we wave our inadequacies in God's face, or use it to cover our lack of faith. Like Moses, our legs lock as if paralyzed. Our tongue swells and we can't speak. Our mind races down a tunnel to the past where we failed God. And out of our mouth pops, Who am I, Lord? Such as, I'm only James Foster, or echo the sentiments of Moses. Exodus 6 verse 30 KJV. And Moses said before the Lord, Behold, I am of uncircumcised lips, and how shall Pharaoh hearken unto me? Exodus 6.30 KJV. God's response to Moses' inadequacies is beautiful. He doesn't laugh and agrees that fact. Indeed, Moses was a failure in the past. God doesn't walk away in dishonor. He simply tells Moses, I will be with you. The responsibility for rescuing the Israelites remains with God, even when Moses was commanded to head the committee. Neither our giftedness nor our past failures are the issue. We can't ruin God's purpose except by putting but in front of our lives, in an attempt to mitigate God's will and purpose. God is bigger than all our inadequacies and all obstacles. The responsibility remains with God, but the choice to be involved with Him is ours. The Lord had told Moses in Media, the nation that rescued Moses, the same nation that was established by one of Abraham's sons by the name of Midian, from his second wife Keturah. Moses' wife was from Midian. Her name was Zipporah, the granddaughter Keturah. The Lord said to Moses, Go back to Egypt, because all the men who wanted to kill you are dead. God had prepared the way from start to finish for His servant, and He will do so for you. Just trust Him and have faith. Even though the road may be rough at first, God will see you through to the end. Psalms 44 verses 1 to 3. As we trust God and have faith, the question is now turned on its head. Can God trust us to go to Nineveh and not Tarshish? Emulating Jonah. Jonah 1 verse 3 KJV. But Jonah rose to flee unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord, and went down to Joppa, and he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it, to go with them unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. No more or excuses in the great controversy. Excuses often arise as a tactic of Satan to hinder individuals from fully embracing God's truth and participating in His work. These excuses can range from claiming inability to serve God to prioritizing worldly pursuits over spiritual matters. Essentially, Satan uses excuses to keep people from actively engaging in the battle between good and evil and instead aligning themselves with ungodly things. Excuses. Reject excuses and align yourself with the mercies, grace, goodness, and love of God and prove His promise. I will be with you. No more excuses, just compliance. And enter into the joy of the Lord. May God continue to bless you. Excuses. What if the Lord calls you in the middle of the night to give you a message for His people? Your eyelids were weak, so that you could hardly keep them open when you heard the voice of the Lord calling you. What would your response be? Would it be, Lord, it is late. It's the middle of the night. I had a long day, and I have to get up early to go to work? My friends, that was not the response of young Samuel. When God called him, his response was immediate. Here, I am your servant listening. 1 Samuel 3 verses 10 to 12. And the Lord came and stood and called at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth. And the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of everyone that heareth it shall tingle. On that day, I will perform against Eli all the things that I have spoken concerning his house. When I begin, I will also bring it to an end. For I have told him that I will judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knoweth, because his sons made themselves vile, and he restrained them not. 1 Samuel 3 verses 18 to 19. And Samuel told him every whit, and hid nothing from him. And he said, It is the Lord. Let him do what seemeth him good. And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and did let none of his words fall to the ground. There is a reward in serving and staying true to God. Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and did let none of his words fall to the ground. All increase in wisdom and grace is owing to the presence of God with us. God will graciously repeat his visits to those who receive them aright. Early piety will be the greatest honor of young people. Those who honor God, he will honor. Let young people consider the piety of Samuel, and from him they will learn to remember their Creator in the days of their youth. Young children are capable of religion. Samuel is proof that their waiting upon the Lord will be pleasing to him. He is a pattern of all those amiable tempers, which are the brightest ornament of youth and a sure source of happiness. The inexperience of youth is not an excuse. Let God work his will in and through you. Even seasoned Christians are plagued by this phenomenon. Excuses. How or what trigger excuses? Is it because of fear of the unknown, self-gratification, or a lame attempt to control the mind of God? As we look at the excuse of Jonah, but it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he was very angry. Jonah 4 verse 2, when he prayed unto the Lord, and said, I pray thee, O Lord, was not this my saying, when I was yet in my country? Therefore I fled before unto Tarshish. For I knew that thou art a gracious God and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repentest thee of the evil. Jonah used his limited knowledge of God to develop his excuse. He said, For I knew that thou art a gracious God and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness. Friends, God is sovereign. His will and purpose are complete and just. According to Jonah 4 verse 11, God said, And should not I spare Nineveh, that great city, wherein are more than 60,000 persons that cannot discern between their right hand and their left hand, and also much cattle? In other words, God knows best. So obedience to God's directives will do us well. Friends, don't be eluded by thoughts of grandeur. God's glory takes precedence, is considered more important than anything else, and he has our best interests at heart. Before you go, if you're encouraged by this video, check the like, share with friends, then tell us what you think. Created by James Foster's Ministry for Courageous Fathers Alliance Jamaica. Thank you for watching.